I don't know though. So the next segment I want to talk about is going to be the Kenny Omega Young Bucks business. So let me say this: I completely understand what they're trying to do with Kenny, right? Where they're trying to say like this guy has reached like such a level of fame that he doesn't care about the people he used to be friends with. You know what I mean? All he cares about is himself and like his mentor.
They're kind
But
of
like,
pitching the aspect too that Callis is manipulating him. So
yes, but and now they're trying to enter the storyline with the Young Bucks, and the Young Bucks are coming off as pathetic. Like it's so hard to watch, where it's just like, yeah, like Kenny's not returning their calls, and they're just like acting like these petulant kids. They gave what's his face, Don Callis. They gave Don Callis a shiner.
Oh yeah.
You know,
well, they were rude to Marvez too. Just thought right off the bat, you're like,
by the way, so Marvez got sent to a dungeon in Kenny Omega's house, and I'm like, okay, is this like the dungeon that's
like?
I was gonna say, is this the kind of dungeon that Stu Hart has in his house? Or
could you imagine if there was like a Stu Hart like character down there? Hey, come over.
Come on here, Butchie. Let me stretch you.
Let me grab that goatee of yours.
Well, we saw Marvez later, so whatever was going on in that dungeon, he managed to escape it. But I don't know, saying that Kenny Omega, this uber rich guy, has any kind of dungeon in his house, it's not a good scene.
Could be like American Psycho kind of stuff.
That's a vibe I'm getting. Rick James.
His shirt kind of reflected a Rick James kind of shirt, right?
Maybe that's his new angle, Dom.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of like, I mean, I get what they're doing. It's just not. It's the same thing. It's just like, how do you want me to? I can't. You got to give me a. It's the Young Bucks are just in this gray area that's not intriguing, and it's like
Kenny's coming off great. Kenny's coming off like
fine, and Don Callis is great. You know,
they're both awesome. Unlikable heel, like, hey, I don't need my friends anymore. I'm too famous. I'm too rich. I don't care about you guys. Like that's a good angle. But like the Young Bucks it should be like he's trying to bring them in to be like his entourage, and they're like, no, we don't need you. You know, you're not the same guy anymore. Like that should be their thing, not like, hey man, we've been trying to call and you haven't returned our calls.
We're friends. Like it's just something that's. They got to go heel. They just have to go heel. And I don't care if it's like heels with Kenny or anything, but that's the route you have to take with them right now, because there's stuff that they've done that's not likable. And it's like kind of irredeemable at this moment in time. So like yeah.
I'm trying to think of things that they've done that I liked, or it's mostly not likable stuff. I'm trying to think of things that they've done that I've liked or enjoyed, and I'm struggling.
I just like the only thing I can honestly think, Mark, is like Nick Jackson's like hot tags. That's kind of like the likable thing about them right now. That's it. Like there's so much like, and they're obviously their moves are amazing and what they do, but it's just like, and I've said this plenty of times before, is like, I honestly, like, if the slate was totally clean, like they could play great baby faces or they could play great heels, but the waters have been muddied so much that it's hard for me to invest in any of it.
Here's kind of how I look at them and their moves too, where it's like, yes, they do some incredible stuff. So do a lot of the other talent. But here's the thing: is like, it was probably a lot more incredible when it was on the indie scene and people weren't seeing it on a weekly basis. If I took a silver dollar in my hand and I flicked it up into the air, and then somebody shot it with an arrow, like you'd be like, that is the most incredible thing. I've never seen anything like that before. That's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Now watch me do that every week for months, and you'd be like, that's okay, whatever. Like,
to that point though, the Young Bucks don't wrestle every week either though.
Yeah, but pretty much every time they do, you see basically all the same stuff. Even with the Nick Jackson hot tag that you referenced.
That can be said about almost any wrestler though too.
But here's the difference, Dominic, is storyline. So like when you put these people in different positions or interesting positions, and then they have to fight out of it, or they're forced to sell, which Matt Jackson will not do. they're forced to sell and they're forced to fight from underneath, and then there's like a reason for them to do these devastating moves where they're trying to get out of a situation. Then it makes more sense, and then it's more watchable on a weekly basis. Yes, you know, like when we used to watch Dean Malenko, yes, he would do a lot of the same stuff. He had that spot with Rey Mysterio where he'd fling him up in the air and then catch him with the knee thing.
Amazing.
Here's the thing, he was busting that out maybe once a month.
It's a good point.
And when he did, it was just like, hey, I finally got this little guy in the ring with me, and I can treat him like a job guy,
Yeah.
you know. So like there was a reason, there was a storyline, there was a point to it. So now it's like every week I'm seeing a Meltzer driver, and I'm seeing like Nick Jackson do his crazy flippy thing onto the apron, and I'm just like, I don't care anymore. It's just like Tope Suicida. I don't give a shit about Tope Suicidas or Tope Con Heroes ever again. I could never see one again.